Hello, planner friends. I'm so excited that you're here with me today. What I am doing today is going to be my July reflection. And I do it a little bit differently than I've seen before, but this is what I like to do and how I like to do it. So let's dive in. So what I like to do, I've created this just one large sticker. What I've done is I've cut out these images are from the Passion Planner website, and this strip as well for the videos. So I'm using some of their images that are on the website. I've also created some of my own, and each of these boxes get filled up with stickers that I've created, and it's a fun way for me to think about my month and review things that I've done and media that I've consumed. And I use the TVs for TV shows, and this is for movies. This is for things that I just can't stop listening to on Spotify, my books, and then these are boxes that I write in. This is sometimes write, this is sometimes photos, and this is if I'm gonna sum up my entire month with one important photo, that's what it is. So I will get started on this. For the month of July, my family wasn't home for a good week, and but these are the shows that we're watching now. I have realized just now that all of these are comedies, and we like our comedies. Some of these we've watched before, and we like to return to them because they are comforting. No matter what movie we watch or anything else before we go to bed, we'll throw on one of these comfort comedy shows before we go to sleep. So I'm going to start with my pick 3 words, and I use this as a way to just think about the month and just boil it down really into 3 words. And I'm going to use my Sharpie S-Gel 0.7 to fill in these words. We had a vacation this month. We had a family reunion this month. We had a lot of activities that we did, but I really want to focus on the way I felt this month rather than just things we did. So I'm gonna write free. I had a lot of moments where I just felt free. I'm also gonna go ahead and put vacation. For my 3rd word, I'm going to put family. So not only was it a family reunion, I really got to think about family and what that means to me and how it's played in my life. So the good, I have 3 things that I have to think about that were good, and I'm gonna just put time in Nashville, which is where we had our vacation. I put in Lower Broad because the name of the road is Broadway. That was a lot of fun. Another good thing that happened this month. Sometimes I'll look back through my spreads just to see some of the things that happened. This was my memory planning spread I did. I'm just gonna put time off of work. I had some days where I was able to get some things done around the house as well as go on vacation, so that was nice. Let's see. I'm gonna come back to the good. I want to make sure to narrow it down. For the lessons, I try to make the lessons not about the thing that happened that wasn't the greatest, but the lessons I learned from those things. So that way I'm not putting details of horrible things that happened, but maybe things I've learned from it. So it's a little more generic than the event that happened. I'm gonna put glasses insurance is important. There was an incident with my daughter's glasses and we had to rush them back to the optometrist, and was able to, because of insurance, we were able to get a replacement. So that was an important thing that happened. I'm gonna wait on the other two as well. There were some things that happened, and I want to make sure to be able to capture the lesson appropriately. So I'm gonna move on to putting in pictures and things. So I've printed these out ahead of time and cut them out. And for my picture of the month, we're gonna put the picture of Lower Broadway that I took while we were hanging out downtown. Well, that's not straight, but that's okay. It's pretty straight. And for the music, there's never a rhyme or reason for the thing that just catches my attention in the moment. It's there are just songs that I just go on repeat, and I want to make sure that I remember those songs. This was Way Down We Go. I actually heard Kelly Clarkson sing that one and couldn't get it out of my head, so I had to go back to Spotify and grab that. Let's see, the other one was a Manchester Orchestra song called The Way, and I've heard it many times, but for some reason this month it caught my attention and I couldn't stop listening to it. Sometimes songs can just speak to your soul, and sometimes it depends on the things that are happening in your life at the time. It might speak to you a different way, different days. All right, movies. I clearly do not have enough spots for all the movies we watched this month. Normally, this is plenty, but because of the time off I had, and because of the time of the airplane I had, I actually watched some movies on my own this month. So there are other things that we watched that that my family didn't watch. So I'm gonna so let's see. We started off with Breakfast Club as a family. I like to make sure that when my kids get to a certain age that they have the knowledge of certain movies that were important either to me or to culture in general. And so we watched a couple that were in pop culture. So both of these we watched. And then I, on my own, watched the Super Mario Brothers movie. Nobody else in my family wanted to see it. And so while I was packing for vacation, I decided to watch it on my own. Let's see, the next one. I watched American Fiction, again on my own, while I was packing for Tennessee. Then on the airplane, I watched Beautiful Boy, and I would not recommend watching this on the airplane. It is an amazing movie. However, if you're somebody who tends to cry during movies, it's not an Airplane movie. On the way back, I watched Anyone But You. Now I have 3 more movies to fit in this area. When we got back from vacation, we watched Beekeeper. I am a huge Jason Statham fan because, so I'm gonna put this here. Then we hit a comedy movie, Night School with Kevin Hart. It's an older movie. We hadn't seen it before, so I'm gonna put this one here. And then we finished off with the newest Mission Impossible movie that we hadn't seen yet. And we're gonna give them stars. I don't have a rhyme or reason for why I give movies stars. It's a lot of it's the way it makes me feel, or in the case of these, they are nostalgic. I don't know if you've seen American Fiction or not, but I'm not sure. I've gone back and forth between it being questionable and loving it. All right. And I'm sorry, but I did not like Beekeeper. Beekeeper was a lot of action, but the story just, it was completely ridiculous and implausible. It felt like revenge porn almost. Even though I love him, I was not pleased with the movie. And this was ridiculously boring. I couldn't get through that one. All right, movie's done. Now on to books. So, before we left on vacation, I finally finished up The Demon of Unrest. This is a book about the months leading up to the start of the Civil War. And oh my gosh, was it good. I highly recommend it if that is an interest to you at all. I also finished Garlic and Sapphires. And then before we went on vacation, I decided to download, I wanted a beach read. Something I could read on the airplane, and I actually ended up finding a book with beach read in the title. And then I listened to RuPaul's biography. Wow. And then I'm currently listening to Yellowface and reading Laurie Foster, beginning of one of her series. What I like to track on these books is not just the title, but the author, when it was actually published, the format I read it in, how long it took me to finish, along with my rating. All right, so the first one I've switched pens to a 0.5 instead of the 0.7 so I can fit everything in. Okay, so the way that I organize the books I've read is I keep the books, I put the books in my monthly reflection when I start it, and then I keep them in each month that I am continuing to read it until I finish. So I finished this actually earlier in the month, and because this requires math, I will fill out the number of days that took me later off camera. So then the next one was Garlic and Sapphires. And the reason why I have so many in one month is because I usually have an audiobook going, a physical book going, and a Kindle book going. So I usually have one of each kind, and I've started and stopped them throughout the month. So that's why I have a place for 6 books, and I usually have them all filled in. I didn't know this when I got this book. I actually got it from the library on Kindle. I didn't know when I got it that it was a part of a series. And it's like 8th in the series or something along those lines. And that's actually number 9. Is Lighthouse Library Mystery number 9. So there was a lot of backstory in the book, and I understand why. It's definitely not easy to jump in the middle of a series. And I keep track of my books that I read in Goodreads, so it's very easy for me to find the dates and the other information I need. Oop. I miswrote that. It was July 1st, and I finished it July 11th. And RuPaul's memoir. So good. Oop. I am making mistakes. I listened to it, which was a phenomenal way to read that book. He reads it, and that was a brilliant move. I know I was on vacation when I finished it, so I'm going to put 7/12 as finishing it. I downloaded it right before I got on the airplane, so I'm gonna guess. It was pretty fast. I wanted to listen to it quite a bit. So, and then the ones I'm currently reading: Yellowface, and this is what I'm listening to also. Lori Foster's book is another one that I got. I was on vacation, had finished my beach read that I thought was going to take me through my vacation, and needed to quickly find a library book that I could download and read on the airplane. And this was one that was in my TBR list and happened to be available, and I could instantly download it on Kindle. So this is the one I picked up. All right, those are all of my books. I'm gonna go ahead and rate the ones I have finished. I do rate them on Goodreads as well, so I do remember what I rated them as. It's a little bit easier to do that right after you finish reading something. All right. I would recommend listening to RuPaul read his book, no matter what you think about his lifestyle. His storytelling ability is phenomenal. And I would also recommend listening to The Demon of Unrest. It is a long book. It took me a long time to get through it, but it is interesting how our country has always been deeply divided. Like I said, Death by Beach Read was a number 9 in a series. I wouldn't necessarily recommend it. It was okay. I didn't feel terribly about reading it, but I was frustrated at the amount of the book that was dedicated to the backstory of the first 8 books. Garlic and Sapphires, this book took me so long to read because I was bored out of my mind. And I know people who love it, and it was actually gifted to me by someone who loves it, but I cannot recommend it because I didn't fall in love with the way she described food. It is about a food critic, and I'm sure if you were a foodie, those words might mean something to you, but for the most part, I skipped a lot. So next month, we'll talk about what I thought about Yellowface and The Dangerous One. Other than that, this was my July, and I will think about the things that need to go over here and do that at another time. I hope your month of July was fun and memorable as well, and that you find a place to record something about your month so that you can look back and think on the moments, the good moments. I will see you in the next video, and I just want to remind you that you are important, and I'm glad you're here. Bye, planner friends.